A loud bell rings, signaling the start of the day. The hallway fills with students catching up after summer, some rushing to find their homerooms, others clustered in groups. The chatter is like a low hum, filled with laughter and exclamations. Jaden Wright, 17, steps into the scene, a quiet presence among the noise. He's clutching a wrinkled map of his school and his schedule, eyes scanning his unfamiliar surroundings. Jaden's expression is focused yet hesitant, trying to blend in, but aware of being the only black student in sight. His gaze flickers as he catches a few students eyeing him, then quickly looking away. Student 1 whispering to another student, just loud enough for Jaden to hear. "Who's that?" Student 2 glancing, curious. "Dunno. Must be new." Jaden lets out a small breath, gripping his schedule tighter. He shakes off their stares, keeps his head high, and weaves his way through the bustling corridor. His eyes dart between the classroom numbers, finally spotting his homeroom. He pauses outside the door, adjusts his backpack, and takes a steadying breath before stepping inside. The classroom buzzes with the energy of first-day excitement. MRS. Chapman, the homeroom teacher, stands at the front, greeting students as they settle in. She's middle-aged, with a welcoming smile that puts the students at ease. As Jaden enters, a hush falls over the room, and all eyes shift to him. The weight of their gaze is tangible, but he keeps his posture relaxed. MRS. Chapman, smiling, turning to address the class. "All right, everyone, I'd like you to meet Jaden Wright. He just transferred here, so let's make him feel welcome." There's a murmur of polite greetings from the class. Jaden offers a quick nod, avoiding direct eye contact, and moves toward an empty seat in the back. He sits, pulling out his notebook, trying to ignore the lingering glances from his classmates. Mrs. Chapman catches his eye and gives him a warm, encouraging smile. MRS. Chapman kindly. "Welcome, Jaden. We're just finishing introductions, so let's get you caught up." Jaden returns a small, hesitant smile, his fingers tapping lightly on his notebook, still adjusting to the weight of being the center of attention. The cafeteria is a bustling hub, students filling tables, catching up, laughing, and eating. Jaden stands near the entrance, clutching his lunch tray, scanning for a familiar face or an empty spot. He spots an empty table at the edge of the room and heads toward it, conscious of a few curious glances. He sits alone, picking at his food, his shoulders slightly hunched as he feels the eyes around him. Across the room, two students, Noah and Emma, both 17, notice him. Noah nudges Emma, nodding toward Jaden. Noah, leaning in, low voice. "That's the new guy, right?" "Jaden?" Emma, "Yeah." He looks a little lost. "Should we go say hi?" Noah, "Maybe. Let's not make it weird, though." They gather their trays and walk over to Jaden's table. He looks up, a bit surprised but guarded. Noah, "Hey, Jaden, right? I'm Noah, and this is Emma. Mind if we join you?" Jaden, relieved but cautious. "Yeah, sure. Go ahead." They sit down, a moment of silence hanging between them before Emma speaks up, her voice warm and friendly. "Emma, so where did you transfer from?" Jaden, Greenwood High. "It's a bit different from here." "No, yeah, I bet." "Well, welcome. If you need anything, just ask." Jaden nods, grateful for the kindness, even as he senses the slight awkwardness of the moment. The class is arranged in a semicircle, and Mr. Harrison, the English teacher, is leading a discussion on To Kill a Mockingbird. The topic has shifted to themes of justice and race, and students are sharing their thoughts on the courtroom scenes. Mr. Harrison, addressing the class, "All right, who wants to tackle the themes in the trial scene?" It's a pivotal moment. Atticus, a white lawyer, defending a black man. "Thoughts?" Jaden raises his hand, eyes bright with eagerness to participate. But Mr. Harrison doesn't notice and calls on Sarah, another student. Sarah, I think Atticus is brave, but it's really about fairness, you know? Like, he's just trying to make things right. Jaden frowned slightly, lifting his hand again. This time, Mr. Harrison notices him and nods. Mr. Harrison, yes, Jaden. Jaden, I think the story's about more than just fairness. Atticus gets to go home respected, but Tom Robinson, he doesn't have that privilege. It's about understanding what people face because of how they look. The class falls silent, a mix of intrigue and discomfort on some faces. Mr. Harrison, after a moment, slightly dismissive, interesting perspective, Jaden. Although, I'd argue that Harper Lee didn't intend for Atticus to be seen as anything less than a hero. Jaden leans back, his expression neutral, but the subtle frustration is visible. He feels his viewpoint was brushed aside, a reminder that even in this space, being heard doesn't always mean being understood. Jaden exits the classroom, lost in thought, nearly bumping into Zayn, a security guard who works at the school and sometimes supervises the halls. Zane, a black man in his late 20s, has a calm, reassuring demeanor. Zayn, everything good, kid? Jaden pauses, choosing his words. Yeah, just, first day stuff. Zane gives him an understanding look, sensing more behind Jaden's words. Zayn, I know the look. It's a lot to take in. Just keep your head up. You'll find your way. Jaden nods, grateful for the advice, feeling a bit more anchored. Jaden, thanks, man. I appreciate it. They exchange a brief nod before parting ways, and Jaden walks on, feeling a small but comforting sense of solidarity. The teacher announces a group project, and students start pairing up. Jaden notices that no one approaches him, each student quickly finding their usual partners. He raises his hand, trying to mask his discomfort. Science teacher, addressing the class, looks like Jaden needs a group. Any volunteers? An awkward silence fills the room until Emma glances at him and sighs, giving a small, hesitant wave to join her group with Noah and Sarah. Jaden moves to sit with him, offering a quiet smile, though he feels the invisible walls around him. Jaden lies on his bed, staring at the ceiling. The weight of the day sits heavily on him. His phone buzzes with a notification, but he ignores it, lost in thought. His mother, Miss Wright, a warm and supportive woman, knocks on the door and steps inside. Miss Wright, hey, baby. How was the first day? Jaden avoiding eye contact. It was fine. Just different. She sits on the edge of his bed, brushing his hair back in a comforting gesture. Miss Wright, I know it's not easy. But remember, you're there for a reason. You've got something they need to see, even if they don't know it yet. Jaden nods, feeling her words wrap around him like a warm blanket. Jaden, thanks, Mom. I'll be okay. She smiles, kisses his forehead, and quietly leaves the room. Jaden closes his eyes, exhaling deeply as he prepares himself for tomorrow, feeling both the weight and possibility of being seen for who he truly is. Next day, Jaden sits with his assigned group, Emma, Noah, and Sarah, working on their science project. Jaden suggests a method for conducting the experiment, his voice confident but open to feedback. Jaden, I think if we start by testing variables first, we can get more accurate results. Sarah barely looks up, her tone dismissive. Sarah, actually, I think it's simpler if we just follow the lab instructions. No need to overthink it. Jaden pauses, taken aback. Noah glances at him sympathetically but doesn't intervene, sensing the tension. Jaden, murmuring, all right. Whatever works. Jaden follows Sarah's plan, but his expression reveals disappointment and frustration at being brushed aside. Jaden sits alone, trying to focus on a book he's brought, but his mind keeps drifting to the laughter and chatter around him. Across the room, he notices Noah, Emma, and Sarah sitting together, laughing and talking easily. Noah catches Jaden's eye briefly, a flicker of awkwardness crossing his face before he turns back to his friends. Jaden shifts uncomfortably, a tightness in his chest as he returns to his book, feeling the isolation settling in. Jaden walks down the hallway with his backpack slung over one shoulder, minding his own business, when he overhears two students, Amy and Eliza, passing by. They lower their voices but aren't quiet enough. Amy to Liz with a smirk, he's different, you know? Doesn't really fit in. Liz, yeah, I don't know why he's here. Jaden clenches his jaw, his steps slowing. He doesn't confront them, but the frustration and sadness flicker in his eyes. He grips his backpack strap tighter, pushing forward despite the hurt. After English class, Emma hesitates near Jaden's desk, gathering her courage. She steps closer, her tone warm but tentative. Emma, hey, Jaden, you want to join us for lunch today? Jaden studies her, a mixture of surprise and skepticism in his gaze. Jaden, are you sure? Didn't seem like you guys wanted me around much. Emma looks taken aback, her smile faltering as she fumbles for the right words. Emma, no, it's not like that. It's just sometimes it's hard to know what to say, you know? Jaden sighs, sensing her discomfort but also feeling the gap between them. Jaden, it's fine. Thanks, though. He gathers his things and walks off, leaving Emma standing there, conflicted and unsure how to bridge the distance. The history teacher, Mr. Martin, is leading a discussion on civil rights. The conversation touches on the lasting impacts of systemic issues. Mr. Martin, as we discuss these movements, let's remember that systemic issues don't disappear just because time passes. Jaden raises his hand, his voice carrying a note of quiet conviction. Jaden, I think it's not just about the past. It's about what's happening now, the things people don't see, small things, things that hurt. Sarah rolls her eyes, a look of impatience crossing her face. Sarah, not everything has to be about race, Jaden. The room goes quiet, and Jaden feels a mix of anger and sadness. Mr. Martin steps in to redirect. Mr. Martin, Jaden brings up a valid point. It's important to understand history as it connects to our present experiences. Jaden nods, feeling validated but aware of the discomfort in the room. He glances around, seeing a mix of intrigue and reluctance in his classmates' faces. Jaden is sitting alone on a bench outside during his free period, lost in thought. Zane, the security guard, notices him and approaches, sitting beside him in a companionable silence. "See, wouldn't mind if I sit?" Jaden, go ahead. Zane gives him a sympathetic look, reading the frustration in Jaden's face. "See, wouldn't you know, I was the only black kid in my school too. It's not easy, always feeling like everyone's watching you, waiting for you to fit into their expectations." Jaden looks up, surprised and grateful for Zane's insight. "Jaden, it's like they don't see me. Just whatever they think I'm supposed to be. See, why sometimes you gotta let them see you on your own terms. Show them who you are, not who they think you are." Jaden nods, his shoulders relaxing a little as he absorbs Zane's words. "Jaden, thanks. It helps a little." Zane pats him on the shoulder, a reassuring gesture, and heads off. Jaden stays on the bench, a quiet determination setting into his expression. Jaden lies on his bed, scrolling through social media. Pictures of classmates laughing and posing at school events he wasn't invited to fill his feed. He sighs, feeling the loneliness settle over him like a weight. After a pause, he calls his mom. "MS Wright, picking up, hey baby. How was today?" "Jaden, it was okay. Just, still figuring things out." There's a silence as Ms. Wright senses her son's struggle. "MS Wright, I know it's tough, honey. But you're strong. You don't have to change for anyone. Be yourself, and the right people will see you for who you are." Jaden closes his eyes, letting her words sink in. Jaden thanks, Mom. Love you. And Miss Wright love you more. They hang up, and Jaden lies back, feeling the weight of the day, but a bit more grounded, prepared to face tomorrow. The next day, Jaden walks to his locker. As he closes it, he hears Sarah's voice from nearby, talking to Ben, another student. Sarah, he just thinks he's better than us. Like he knows everything. I'm so over it. Jaden's had enough. He steps forward, confronting her directly. Jaden, I'm right here, Sarah. You don't have to talk behind my back. Sarah freezes, looking startled and a bit defensive. Sarah, I'm just saying, Jaden, you act like you're so different. It's not our fault you're, not used to this. Jaden's expression hardens, his voice steady but firm. Jaden, you're right. I am different. And I'm not going to pretend I'm not, just to make you feel comfortable. There's a tense silence. Sarah stares back, unsure how to respond, as Jaden walks away, his shoulders squared with quiet defiance. Jaden sits at his desk, his notebook open. He starts writing, letting his emotions spill onto the page. They don't see me, just the version they've made up. Maybe I'm here for a reason, but right now, I'm not sure why. He closes the notebook, a look of steely determination in his eyes. Though uncertain, he knows he has a voice, and he's starting to understand that it deserves to be heard. Next day, the students sit in a semicircle in Mr. Martin's history class, discussing civil rights movements. Mr. Martin encourages the class to connect the lessons to today's society. Mr. Martin, so why do you think it's essential to study these movements? How does it apply to us today? Jaden raises his hand eagerly, but Sarah speaks up first, her tone indifferent. Sarah, well, it's interesting, I guess. But things are different now, right? We've moved past all that. Jaden waits, his hand still raised. Mr. Martin finally nods to him. Mr. Martin, Jaden? Jaden, we might have moved past some things, but these issues are still here. People face discrimination in ways that aren't always visible. The class goes silent. Some students shift uncomfortably, and Sarah rolls her eyes, muttering under her breath. Sarah, whispering, here we go again. Jaden hears her and feels his patience snap. Jaden, is there a problem, Sarah? Sarah, I just think you don't have to make everything about race. Not everything is about you. Jaden clenches his fists, his voice calm but tense. Jaden, it's not about me, Sarah. It's about all the things people like you don't see, or maybe don't want to see. Mr. Martin intervenes, sensing the tension. Mr. Martin, all right, let's bring it back. This is a sensitive topic, and all perspectives are valuable here. The tension lingers as the discussion moves on, but Jaden sits back, feeling isolated, frustrated, yet proud for speaking his truth. Jaden heads toward his locker, still feeling the weight of the class discussion, when Sarah confronts him, her face flushed with anger. Sarah, why do you always act like we're all against you? We're not racist just because we don't agree with you. Jaden, it's not about agreeing with me. It's about trying to see things from someone else's point of view. Sarah, well, maybe you should try seeing things from ours too. Jaden shakes his head, realizing the conversation is going nowhere. Jaden, I'm done explaining myself, Sarah. If you can't see it by now, I'm not going to make you. He walks away, leaving Sarah standing there, frustrated and speechless. Jaden knocks on Mr. Martin's door, and the teacher waves him in. Jaden sits, looking tired and frustrated. Mr. Martin, sensing his frustration, rough day? Jaden, it feels like no matter what I say, no one really listens. They see me as something I'm not. Mr. Martin leans forward, his expression thoughtful. Mr. Martin, Jaden, sometimes standing out feels like standing alone. But your voice matters. Change starts with small ripples, even if it doesn't seem like much at first. Jaden, I just wish it didn't have to be so hard. Mr. Martin places a reassuring hand on Jaden's shoulder. Mr. Martin, it's hard, yes. But you have a strength that many of us don't. Don't lose that, Jaden. Jaden nods, feeling a mix of comfort and frustration. He leaves the office, slightly more determined, but still carrying the weight of the challenges he's facing. Jaden is studying alone in the library when Emma approaches, looking slightly uncomfortable but sincere. Emma, hey, can I sit? Jaden nods, surprised but open. Jaden, sure. A long pause lingers before Emma speaks, her tone vulnerable. Emma, I just wanted to apologize. For Sarah and everyone. I think I get what you're saying. About feeling different. Jaden studies her, surprised but cautious. Jaden, thanks. It means a lot. It just gets exhausting, you know? Emma nods, her expression softening with understanding. Emma, I think some of us just didn't realize. At least, you're making me think more. Jaden smiles, a flicker of hope in his eyes. Jaden, that means a lot, Emma. Really. They exchange a genuine look of understanding, breaking through the distance that once separated them. Later that night, Jaden sits at his desk, a notebook open. He writes, pouring out his frustrations and reflections from the day. His thoughts are clear, honest, and raw. They see what they want to see. But maybe it's not about them at all. Maybe it's about finding my own place, my own voice, even if they never understand. He puts down his pen, his face set with a mix of determination and doubt. He's uncertain of the road ahead, but resolved to keep going. Next day, Jaden stands at the front of the class, giving a presentation on a theme he's chosen himself: finding identity in a divided world. His voice is calm, steady, and full of passion. Jaden, sometimes, the world doesn't make space for you. Sometimes, you have to create that space yourself. It's about finding who you are, even when everyone has their own idea of who you're supposed to be. The room is silent, every student listening intently. Even Sarah seems moved. Jaden finishes, exhaling a deep breath as he returns to his seat. There's a pause, then a few students begin clapping, Emma and Noah among them. Mr. Harrison nods approvingly. For the first time, Jaden sits with Emma during lunch. They talk and laugh easily, breaking the tension that once defined their relationship. Across the room, Noah notices them and comes over, bringing a sense of acceptance. Noah, hey, Jaden. That presentation, it was powerful, man. Jaden smiles, a genuine warmth in his eyes. Jaden, thanks, Noah. That means a lot. They share a quiet moment, Jaden finally feeling a sense of connection and understanding from those around him. Jaden finds Zane outside and approaches him, a newfound confidence in his step. Jaden, you were right, Zane. I had to let them see me on my terms. Zane nods, a proud smile on his face. Z White, I knew you had it in you. Feels good, doesn't it? Jaden smiling, yeah. It does. They share a quiet laugh, and Jaden feels the impact of his journey settling into something real and lasting. Later that evening, Jaden sits on his bed, scrolling through photos from the day, now feeling the first true sense of belonging. He reflects on the journey that brought him here, feeling a mixture of pride and relief as he closes his eyes. Fade out. Next morning, Jaden walks down the hallway, noticing a shift in how his classmates greet him. A few students nod and smile as he passes. Emma and Noah spot him and wait him over to join them, making him feel included in a way he hasn't felt before. Noah, hey, Jaden. You joining us after school? We're meeting at the coffee shop to work on that English project. Jaden hesitates, a bit surprised but pleased. Jaden, sure, sounds good. Emma smiles warmly, nodding in encouragement. Emma, it'll be fun. We need your perspective to make this project great. Jaden laughs, feeling a new sense of acceptance as they walk together toward class. Mr. Martin's class is discussing a recent news story about social justice, and students are encouraged to share their opinions. Jaden raises his hand, and Mr. Martin nods for him to speak. Jaden, I think it's important to realize these issues aren't just happening somewhere else. They're part of all our lives, even if we don't always see them. Some students nod thoughtfully, and even Sarah, who had previously been skeptical, seems to be considering his words. Noah raises his hand and speaks up as well. No, yeah, I get that. I think a lot of us just didn't realize what was right in front of us. Thanks, Jaden, for, opening our eyes a bit. Jaden smiles appreciatively, feeling the classroom's energy shift to a more open, receptive space. Later that evening, Jaden sits at a table with Emma, Noah, and a couple of other classmates. They chat and laugh while working on their English project, and Jaden feels more at ease than ever. Noah, okay, but Jaden, you're in charge of making this presentation look cool. You've got that creative eye. The group laughs, and Jaden chuckles, feeling truly part of the team. Emma, I can't believe it took us this long to get to know each other. Jaden nods, a genuine smile on his face. Jaden, me too. Thanks for this, guys. It means a lot. The group exchanges warm smiles, feeling a deeper sense of connection. Next day at school, Jaden is talking with Emma and Noah when Sarah approaches, looking slightly nervous but sincere. Sarah, hey, Jaden. I wanted to say sorry. I know I've been harsh, but I'm trying to understand more now. Jaden studies her for a moment, surprised but open to her apology. Jaden, thanks, Sarah. I appreciate that. Sarah nods, visibly relieved, and walks away. Emma gives Jaden an approving look. Emma, you're really making a difference, Jaden. More than you might realize. Jaden smiles, feeling both pride and humility as he realizes the impact he's starting to have. During a class discussion, Ben, another student, expresses frustration with the recent shift in dynamics. Ben, I don't get why we're suddenly making everything about social issues. Can't we just be ourselves without bringing up all this stuff? Jaden feels a pang of frustration, but stays calm. Jaden, I get it, Ben. But for some of us, these issues are part of who we are. Ignoring them doesn't make them go away. Ben sighs, crossing his arms. Ben, yeah, well, not everyone needs to be on some mission. Some of us are just trying to get through high school. The teacher steps in to steer the conversation back on track, but Jaden feels the subtle resistance. It's a reminder that not everyone is ready to change. Jaden finds Zane outside during lunch, seeking his perspective. Zane sees him approach and nods, reading the frustration in Jaden's expression. Jaden, it's weird. I feel like I'm finally making progress, but some people, they just don't want to change. Zane nods, understanding. ZY change isn't comfortable for everyone. Some people don't want to see what's different because it makes them question things they've always believed. Jaden sighs, nodding slowly. Jaden, I don't want to be the guy everyone looks to for answers. But it feels like I don't have a choice. Zane pats him on the shoulder, giving him a reassuring smile. ZY, and you don't have to carry it all. Just be you. The right people will get it, and the rest, well, they might come around eventually. Or they won't. But you keep moving forward. Jaden smiles, reassured. Jaden thanks Zane. I needed that. Mr. Harrison, the English teacher, introduces the next reading assignment, a collection of literature from diverse voices. Mr. Harrison will be spending the next few weeks exploring literature from a range of voices. It's important to understand different perspectives. Jaden glances around, noticing more receptive faces than before. Emma catches his eye and nods encouragingly. Jaden smiles, feeling a sense of accomplishment as the class starts to discuss the assignment with genuine interest. Later that evening, Jaden is recounting the changes at school to his mom, feeling more relaxed and accepted. Jaden, I think things are finally shifting. People are starting to see things differently. Emma's right, that's my boy. I always knew you'd make a difference, Jaden. And I'm so proud of you for staying true to yourself. Jaden beams, feeling the warmth of her pride. Jaden thanks, Mom. It means a lot. She hugs him, and Jaden feels a renewed sense of purpose. Next morning, in a group project discussion, the students naturally include Jaden, asking for his input and valuing his ideas. For the first time, Jaden feels fully accepted, his opinions respected and welcomed. Emma, turning to Jaden, what do you think, Jaden? You've always got good insights. Jaden smiles, a mixture of relief and happiness in his expression. Jaden, I think we're onto something great here. They share a warm moment, and Jaden finally feels a true sense of belonging. Next day at school, Jaden walks through the hallway and is greeted warmly by several classmates. A few students nod and wave as he passes, and others approach to thank him for his recent insights in class discussions, making him feel seen and respected. Student 1 Jaden. Hey, I wanted to say thanks. You really opened my eyes with what you said the other day in class. Jaden, smiling, a bit surprised, oh thanks. That means a lot. He continues down the hallway, feeling a sense of belonging and respect he never imagined when he first arrived. After class, Mr. Martin asks Jaden to stay behind for a quick word. He gives Jaden a look of appreciation. Mr. Martin, Jaden, I've noticed how much our class has grown because of your perspective. You've changed how people see each other, and that's not something many students can accomplish. Jaden, thank you, Mr. Martin. I'm just trying to be honest, I guess. Mr. Martin, smiling, sometimes honesty is exactly what we need. Keep doing what you're doing, Jaden. Jaden nods, feeling both proud and encouraged as he leaves the classroom, his confidence solidified. Jaden sits in the library, studying, when he overhears Ben talking to a few classmates nearby. Ben, I'm just tired of everything being about race. Can't we just go back to normal? Jaden's expression tightens as he listens, but decides not to engage. He knows not everyone will be receptive to change, but it still stings as a reminder of the challenges ahead. Jaden finds Zane outside during a free period, seeking advice. Zane sees Jaden approaching and nods knowingly. Jaden, it's strange. I feel like I'm making progress, but some people just don't want to change. ZAY, and that's normal, Jaden. Not everyone's ready to see things differently. But remember, you've already done something most people never do. You've changed a few minds. Focus on that. Jaden nods, a weight lifting as he takes in Zane's words. Jaden, I guess you're right. Zane pats him on the back, giving him a supportive smile as Jaden walks away feeling reassured. In next English class, Mr. Harrison introduces a novel centered around themes of identity and cultural understanding. Jaden connects with the story and shares his insights with the class. Jaden, this book isn't just a story. It's a reflection of what a lot of people go through every day. It's about trying to be yourself in a world that doesn't always understand you. The class listens intently. Emma nods in agreement, and several other students are visibly moved by Jaden's words. Mr. Harrison, well put, Jaden. I think that perspective will shape how we approach this book. Jaden feels validated as he notices his classmates responding positively, a tangible shift in the classroom's energy. It's Parents' Night, and the school has organized a panel where students can share their experiences. Jaden has been invited as one of the speakers, and he stands at the podium, scanning the audience until he spots his mom smiling proudly in the front row. Jaden, when I first came here, I felt like I didn't belong. But I learned that sometimes we have to create the space we need. I found my voice here, and I hope each of you finds yours too. The audience applauds warmly, and Jaden catches his mother's beaming face in the crowd. He smiles back, feeling an overwhelming sense of pride and accomplishment. After parents' night, Jaden and his mom sit together in the living room, reflecting on the evening. Emma's right, I am so proud of you, Jaden. You've shown such strength and courage. That's no small feat. Jaden thanks Mom. Sometimes it's exhausting, but it feels worth it. Emma's right, it is worth it. And remember, you're not alone. You're surrounded by people who believe in you. Jaden nods, feeling a deep sense of comfort and purpose as he embraces his mother's support. Next day at principal's office. The school principal has called Jaden in for a meeting to discuss a new initiative, a student-led diversity and inclusion club. The principal believes Jaden would be the ideal candidate to lead it. Principal Jaden, I know this is a big responsibility, but I think he'd bring an invaluable perspective. Would you be interested? Jaden looks up, feeling honored but also a bit nervous. Jaden, yeah, I think I'd like that. Thank you for this opportunity. The principal smiles, and Jaden leaves the office with a renewed sense of responsibility, knowing he's stepping into a role that can make a lasting impact. Jaden tells Emma, Noah, and a few other classmates about the new diversity and inclusion club. They're enthusiastic and eager to support him, rallying around his vision. Noah, that's awesome, man. Count me in. Emma, absolutely. This school could really use something like this, and you're perfect for the role. Jaden smiles, grateful for his friend's support. Jaden, thanks, guys. I couldn't do this without you. They exchange smiles, feeling united in their mission to make the school a more welcoming place. First meeting of the Diversity Club. Jaden stands at the front of a classroom filled with students who have come for the first meeting of the Diversity and Inclusion Club. Emma, Noah, and even Sarah are among the attendees, each looking eager and open. Jaden, welcoming the group, thanks, everyone, for coming. I started this club because I wanted everyone here to feel like they belong, to feel like they have a voice. This isn't just about learning. It's about growing together and seeing each other's perspectives. The group nods, listening intently. Jaden begins to outline some ideas for future activities and goals. There's excitement in the room, and Jaden feels a deep sense of pride as he notices students exchanging excited glances. Jaden and his friends, Emma, Noah, and Sarah, sit together at lunch talking and laughing. The tension that once lingered between them is gone, replaced by a genuine friendship. Other students wave and smile at Jaden as they pass by, showing newfound respect. Emma, can you believe how far we've come? I feel like I understand so much more now, and that's thanks to you, Jaden. Noah, yeah, man. You really opened our eyes. Jaden smiles, touched by their words. Jaden, I couldn't have done it without you guys. You all helped me just as much. They continue chatting, laughter ringing out, a true circle of friends who have each grown in their own way. As Jaden is heading to his next class, he's stopped by Ben. Ben looks tense, shifting uncomfortably before speaking. Ben, hey, Jaden. I just wanted to apologize. I know I've been a jerk. I guess I didn't want to see things differently. Jaden studies him, surprised but open to reconciliation. Jaden, I appreciate that, Ben. Changing how you see things isn't easy. We're all learning. Ben nods, visibly relieved, and offers his hand. Jaden shakes it, a silent acknowledgement of mutual respect. The principal calls Jaden into his office unexpectedly. Jaden sits down, curious as the principal speaks. Principal Jaden, I want to thank you for everything you've done here. You created something lasting, something that will benefit the school long after you graduated. Jaden smiles, feeling a mixture of pride and humility. Jaden, thank you. It's been quite the journey. Principal smiling, I think you're just getting started. We're lucky to have had you here, Jaden. Jaden leaves the office, his confidence deepened by the principal's words. He feels like he's making a real impact. Jaden finds Zane outside the school and joins him on a bench. They sit in companionable silence before Zane speaks. And so, how does it feel to leave a legacy? Jaden laughs. I don't know if I call it a legacy, but it feels good to know things are a little better than when I first got here. Zane nods, smiling with pride. And that's all we can hope for. You did good, Jaden. Really good. They sit quietly, each reflecting on Jaden's journey and the impact he's made. Later that evening, Jaden and his mom sit together, reflecting on the changes they've both seen throughout the year. Right, Jaden, you've grown so much. You've become the kind of person people look up to, and I couldn't be prouder. Jaden, smiling, thanks, Mom. I think I'm finally starting to see that for myself. Right, I know you'll keep making a difference, wherever you go. Jaden nods, feeling the warmth and strength of his mother's support. He realizes that this journey has only begun. After some weeks, it's the end of your ceremony, and Jaden stands at the podium as a student speaker, addressing the entire school. He takes a deep breath, reflecting on the year behind him. Jaden, when I first came here, I felt like I didn't belong. But I've learned that sometimes we have to create the space we need. I found my voice here, and I hope each of you finds yours too. The audience claps warmly, and Jaden's eyes find his friends in the crowd, all cheering for him. He's filled with a profound sense of acceptance and accomplishment. After the ceremony, Jaden walks down the empty hallway, taking in the quiet. He stops at his locker, running his hand over it, as memories of his journey play in his mind. He realizes how much he's changed since that first day. He smiles to himself, proud of the path he's walked and the mark he's left behind. As Jaden walks out of the school for the last time, a sense of calm and pride radiates from him. He knows his story, with all its challenges and triumphs, is one worth sharing. And now, that story can live on, not just here, but wherever people need it. Sometimes, finding your place in the world isn't about changing who you are. It's about embracing yourself fully, even when others don't understand. If this journey resonated with you, or if you know someone who needs to hear this story, be sure to subscribe and join our community. By subscribing, you're helping share stories that matter, stories that inspire. Subscribe, share, and stay tuned for more stories of resilience, connection, and change.